But the fact that Dwayne is in the main event of WrestleMania and I'm not makes me sick.
The more things change, the more things stay the same. Wrestler from a famed wrestling family that spent years paying his dues and climbing up the ranks goes to the main event of WrestleMania to go toe-to-toe with the unbeatable Samoan heel just to get screwed by interference and to have a bigger star from the past steal his moment. Or maybe this, WWE brings in a former main eventer who's now a star in Hollywood, fresh off of superhero status, to make a joke out of the Royal Rumble by stealing the thunder of a current full-time talent who's organically got himself over with the audience. Does this sound familiar to anyone? But given that Bret Hart and Daniel Bryan would go on to have their own respective WrestleMania moments, and that Cody said that he's not getting his title shot
At WrestleMania.
I think another analogy is more appropriate. The true CM Punk WrestleMania experience. It is so sad that his promo turned out to be so prophetic. This makes me so sick to my core because how do you fumble a dream match like this? You can check the receipts. I know this was a match that I wanted, and I hate to say it, but I couldn't care less about The Rock versus Roman Reigns right now. And I know that I'm not the only person that was upset with that stunt they pulled off on SmackDown. They posted the full segment on their YouTube channel, and it is currently the most disliked WWE YouTube video of all time. USA Today, TMZ, Bleacher Report are covering the fan backlash. The We Want Cody hashtag became the #1 trend in the United States on Saturday, catching the attention of people inside and outside the wrestling bubble. You have Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias tweeting his support, and thank God for Logan Paul. I never thought that those words would leave my mouth, but he was the first guy on the roster to show his support for Cody Rhodes.
Is it 1996 again?
I assure you that this was not the reaction that TKO was expecting. Hell, I don't even think that fans were expecting to feel this way whenever we finally got this dream match confirmed. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is why the devil is in the details. Execution is everything. Professional wrestling is best when good storytelling is the focus, with narratives that are relatable, that carry weight, that connect us on an emotional level. Triple H's creative vision of the WWE has been meticulous, rewarding you for paying attention. Everything counts, not insulting the viewer's intelligence. What a novel concept. Why did we have to Russo everything up? In one segment, you managed to make winning the Royal Rumble utterly meaningless. You buried the World Heavyweight Championship that you spent 8 months trying to build up from nothing, and you managed to make your up-and-coming top babyface look like the biggest pushover and cuck in the world.
You say, okay, take it. Just don't hurt me.
Just to shoehorn us getting The Rock versus Roman Reigns match at this year's WrestleMania. Logic be damned, it's all about the business, baby. Why should I, as a dedicated viewer that actually watches the product, spends money on merchandise, believe that Cody Rhodes is ever gonna finish the story now when the character himself just gave away his Mania main event that he worked so hard to get back? Why should I, as a Cody Rhodes fan that's been invested in him for years, believe that he's ever gonna get his shot at not only winning the title, finishing his story, but getting his revenge on Roman if he's gonna just buy into the narrative that he's second best? I know that some of you are probably thinking I'm just overreacting, he's such a mark, but in the span of 1 week, we had this man do something that hasn't been done since The Rock was an active full-time competitor 26 years ago. Only the 4th man to ever go back-to-back winning the Royal Rumble. He pointed at Roman Reigns immediately afterwards, went on the press conference and said that he's the guy, he's gonna finish the story, only for him to get played in Little Broad on national television and left the ring so the grown folks could handle their business. I don't understand, because I thought the outcome of Cody versus Roman 2 could easily lead us into the anticipated Rock versus Roman dream match and you build it up with more fanfare, either at SummerSlam or next year's WrestleMania. It doesn't really matter where, as long as it's a big enough stage, but I'd argue that Rock versus Roman didn't really have to happen at this year's WrestleMania. The tickets are already sold. WrestleMania draws enough being WrestleMania. Those casual viewers that might tune in and watch The Rock wrestle would watch him wherever they have the match. But if you knew you really wanted to have Rock versus Roman at this Mania in Philly, do not have Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble. Rock could have drug his ass out there at number 30, been the surprise, only have to throw out 2 people, get the win, don't even have to take a bump. Or just have anybody else whose entire story and character arc motivations are not tied to the WWE Championship. I'm seeing a lot of rumors being thrown around from PW Insider, from Fightful Select. Apparently TKO is wanting to divert all the bad press and attention away from the WWE by pulling out the break glass option when it comes to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And The Rock pushed for this himself, possibly even wanting to win this match in order to save WrestleMania. Now, I don't know if every single detail of these reports are true, but it does not take a rocket scientist to figure out what's going on here. And let's be real, the Vince McMahon allegations of sex trafficking is under a federal investigation. Rocky strapping on his wrestling boots ain't gonna stop any criminal charges from being pressed, the Wall Street Journal from exposing all the foul shit that's going on, and the mainstream media and the public talking about it. So I'm not sure if I'm 100% buying the bad press. I'm sure it's a contributing factor, but given that they knew about this going into it, it just feels more of like a power play for The Rock to get his match right now.
Because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
He couldn't get control of the DC cinematic universe like he wanted, and his reputation and star in Hollywood took a little hit. Now all of a sudden, after the years of putting the pencils down and not being able to give us this match at 38, 39, he's got time now to get in everybody's good graces and become an executive of WWE's parent company, undermining the established rules of the WWE universe to get what he wants. I do not feel right saying all this or coming to this realization. I have been watching wrestling for a long time, and the first wrestler that I fell in love with, that I identified with, was The Rock. And yes, I was young, but I remember whenever The Rock first left for Hollywood and not being as interested in watching anymore. I was so excited when he came back in 2011. I loved his feuds with John Cena and CM Punk. I've loved all of his movies. I actually went to go see Black Adam, and I enjoyed it. I wanted to see his showdown with Henry Cavill's Superman. I was bought in, I was invested. I remember defending him from the naysayers whenever the things didn't work out with DC. And I wasn't one of those people who was criticizing him about the Maui fundraiser. But this right here hit home, and it makes me reconsider so much from before. It just feels dirty. And ironically enough, how I feel about The Rock and what he just pulled actually reminds me of another famous DC property.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
My frustration sits into how all this went down. It's not the fact that we're actually getting Rock versus Roman Reigns. It's the way that they got to this match. The last video that I made on this channel was about how The Rock was gonna face Roman at WrestleMania, and accepting it. But then you got my hopes up and you promised me something that ultimately you just took away. And even more than how I feel, you could see the pain in Cody's eyes. We talked about how damaging this was to the Cody Rhodes character. But real life, we know that this really hurt Cody Runnels, the man himself. Now, if WWE sees the fan response and course corrects, I'll be more than happy to say that I was wrong, that I overreacted, that I panicked, that I jumped the gun, all those things. But with what we have in front of us, what's next for Cody Rhodes? I'm not really sure what the best course of action is for him. Does he go for Seth Rollins and the title that Roman mercilessly eviscerated on Friday night? Do Seth and Cody want to prove him right? And even though Seth's pitch and his video package made allusions to the old big gold, it's a little late that a year into the existence of this title that we're trying to make it feel like the Dusty Rhodes, Terry Funk, and Ric Flair title. It just doesn't work. I'd rather see Drew or Gunther get that opportunity. Reward either of these men for putting in excellent work. Plus, Cody did say that he still wants Roman's title and that he wants to take everything from him, but not at WrestleMania.
Feels like it has to be at WrestleMania.
So you could have Cody pull a John Cena and elect to use his match before WrestleMania and have him win at the Elimination Chamber. That's not the worst course of action, and it's probably more realistic than what my preferred option is, but hey, I'm gonna throw it out there anyways. Now you would have to find a way to walk back Cody saying that he wouldn't get his shot at WrestleMania. You might have to have Punk come in the sling and slap some sense into him, but you have 2 nights of WrestleMania. Make Roman pull double duty. I don't think The Rock's match would be a long one anyways, and I honestly worry about his health trying to pull off a 15+ minute Mania main event caliber match. But have Rock be a team player, have the battle for the tribal chief on night 1. Roman beats him, and then Roman goes into his match on the second night with more intrigue. He's even bigger than he was before that match started. Rock still comes out in the end to get his get back by taking out the bloodline interference. Cody is triumphant. They both celebrate with Rock endorsing him as the guy. Cody finishes his story winning the title that Bruno Sammartino held, that his father had in his hands and that was ripped away from him. You give everybody what they want. Do I want that? Of course. But that's contingent on a lot of things that really aren't gonna happen. You can probably count on your hand the amount of times that Roman wrestled last year, and let alone you're gonna have him wrestle twice in 2 days. Plus, Rock pulled all these strings to come back and get in the position that he wants to have his Mania main event match right now. Is he all of a sudden just gonna give that away and start caring about Cody out of nowhere? I don't know, y'all. I can't lie, I'm really bummed out about this, and all this has really just killed my excitement for WrestleMania. I feel like I wasted my voice, my excitement, my money on going to the Royal Rumble last week. Cody said it on the press conference last week. This win that he had felt like vindication for the fans that have been invested in for so long, that it felt like validation that WrestleMania 39 wasn't all for naught. Now I'm not sure what any of this means, or if his moment is gonna feel as special whenever it does happen. In a simple and ideal world, we could have gotten to the Rock versus Roman dream match without all of this nonsense it took to get there. Now it's damaged goods. I feel bad for all the people that are really excited right now to see the dream match, and I also feel really bad for all the people that wanted Cody versus Roman too, given that Cody won the Royal Rumble and pointed to him at the show. And for people like me that wanted to see both of these matches given their proper build and time, regardless of the order, we could have gotten both of them without ruining the other to get to it. Like I said at the very beginning of the video, the more things change, the more things stay the same. Y'all got rid of Vince only to pull a Vince type decision just in time for WrestleMania 40.
This is such good shit.
But guys, that's enough for me. Please let me know what you all think. I know everybody's not gonna agree with one another. You might think that I'm an idiot and that I'm a Mark who's crying and whining and doesn't know what he wants, but let's try to keep the comment section as civil without insulting one another. If you feel the need to insult anybody, just make fun of me and just get on with your lives. This has been Brandon from EK Wrestling. I love you guys and I appreciate all of your support, and with seeing all the fan support, it still reminds me that wrestling is hope. And I hope that we can keep all that together and realize that this stuff is supposed to bring us together and distract us from all the dumb shit that happens out in the world and not tear each other apart. Take care.